a death just one step away from a dream. The day before his university induction, 18-year-old boy was found dead. Who took his life? Don't miss the investigation. Psychics uncover the dark secret of a horrifying ritual. This is Psychic Investigations, a project based on real and shocking stories. Here, people who call themselves clairvoyants investigate twisted crimes and chilling paranormal mysteries. A 2-meter-tall young man with an unforgettable smile, Valerii Shkvarchenko, was only 18. On that summer morning, his battered body was discovered near his home in Ukraine's capital, Kyiv. He was just 20 meters away from the apartment he lived in.
They say time heals, that you start to forget. Nothing gets forgotten. What happened? Why did it have to end like this?
According to the official forensic examination, the young man's death was caused by severe internal injuries that led to massive internal bleeding. In addition, he sustained a traumatic brain injury, a fractured right collarbone, and multiple broken ribs. Based on these findings, law enforcement concluded that Valerii Shkvarchenko died by suicide. Authorities claim that he jumped from the roof of a 9-story apartment building.
But neither his family nor his friends believe that version.
I'm absolutely sure there's no way that could be true.
This was clearly not suicide. There were never any signs or reasons for something like that.
He had such bright dreams for the future. "I'll graduate, Mom and Dad. I'll help you both," he said.
Valerii had just finished technical college, where he studied programming. He dreamed of opening his own car dealership, so he enrolled in the Trade and Economic University. In just 2 days, he was supposed to be initiated as a freshman. Instead, he was buried. Everyone who came to say their goodbyes believes one thing: Valerii was brutally beaten, and his body was dumped to make it look like a suicide.
It really looked like someone punched him in the eye. His hands were all scraped up, like after fighting.
It's possible there was some kind of fight.
The police explained nothing, how or under what circumstances he supposedly fell from that roof. They just sent me a written response saying that a criminal case wouldn't be opened due to a lack of crime.
His family is devastated. Meanwhile, Valerii keeps appearing in his mother's and sister's dreams.
I dreamed that he didn't do it himself.
He told me, "You'll find out the truth."
Our investigative team, Jana Shulikova and Jake Ryder, begin their search for answers.
There's a creeping doubt in my mind that he could have done this to himself. Something's off. I'm seeing a man. He's somehow involved in this. But who is he? And what was his connection to the boy? I still can't tell.
When I look at the boy's photo, I get the strong feeling he was being watched, and the most terrifying part is, someone truly wanted him dead. Wait a second, I'm now seeing a woman. She seems to always be near him. Could it be that a woman killed him?
To get to the bottom of this mystery, the psychics head to the building where the tragedy occurred. Jake is helped to practice by the snake Ambriella.
I feel a strong death energy here.
I'm sensing this is the exact place where he was found.
And this is true. The psychics are now standing at the very spot where Valerii Shkvarchenko's body was discovered.
I just had a vision. It's like this whole place was once covered in flour.
Every year, on the anniversary of his death, these small children come here and lay marigolds. Valerii used to coach them in football every weekend. After he passed, they kept asking the grown-ups, "Where did our coach go?"
Valerii would gather the boys in the courtyard. He was trying to be their football coach.
He was a kind soul, so open, so gentle. Kids were just drawn to him.
Now I'm seeing an image. He's lying right here, his head turned to the side.
The boy was found lying face down, his head turned to the left. His arms were tucked underneath him, his legs stretched out straight. That's exactly how Valerii's body was discovered by the police.
For someone who just fell, the way he's lying looks strange. It feels like the body was planted.
What really happened to Valerii, and who was involved in his death?
Jana, let's call the boy's parents down.
Yes, let's do that.
I'm checking the apartment number. It's saved in my phone. The 9th.
Hello there.
Hello.
Jake and I are here. Could you come downstairs and speak with us?
Yes, of course. Hello?
Hello?
I don't believe he did this to himself.
We'll do everything in our power to uncover the truth. Let's go to the spot where we felt your son's energy. That's where his body was found, right?
Yes.
Right now, I'm sensing someone was watching your son. I feel someone's gaze lingering on Valerii's body, and there was a deep desire for his death. Then I saw a strange vision, as if some kind of dark mist with a foul sulfur smell was constantly hovering around him.
I'm seeing a perfectly normal day for him. He's calm, relaxed, surrounded by friends.
And the clairvoyant is absolutely right. Around 7 p.m., Valerii went outside to meet up with some friends.
The victim's mother saw from the window how her son met two of his friends near the entrance.
When I first connected with Valerii's photo, I immediately felt that a man was somehow involved in his death. At the time, I sensed it could have been one of his close friends, someone he spent that final evening with.
The mother claims that around 11 p.m., she looked out the window, which faces the building's front entrance, and saw Valerii with his friends. According to her, there were no signs of an argument or scuffle. Her son and the two boys were just sitting on a bench, talking.
He called around 11 and said everything was fine. We're all good. I'll be home in about an hour.
Now, Valerii's parents can't forgive themselves for falling asleep and never seeing their son come home.
Valerii's death occurred sometime between 2 and 4 a.m.
But where was the boy all that time? What happened to him?
Right now, I'm seeing someone leaning over your son's body. A young man. He's panicking, terrified. And it's the same guy who was with your son just hours before his death.
Could it be that Valerii was killed by a friend?
From what we've learned, the two friends who were sitting with Valerii outside that evening went home around midnight. Their parents and neighbors confirm this.
And in a cruel twist of fate, one of those very friends, the last to see Valerii alive, was also the first to find his body that tragic morning.
I was walking to class at 6:30 in the morning and he was just lying here. The police had already arrived. I guess one of the neighbors saw him and called them.
But if Valerii's friends had nothing to do with his death, then what really happened to him? How and why did he end up dead just steps from his own home?
Wait, I'm seeing your son half-dressed. Something's missing. He's not fully clothed.
When the body of Valerii Shkvarchenko was discovered, he wasn't wearing a t-shirt, just shorts. His sandals were lying a couple of steps away.
It's strange. Valerii's mother insists he left the house that evening wearing a t-shirt. So where did it go? It was a hot day, and the evening was stifling. It's possible he simply took it off.
It feels like before his death, your son was somewhere very high up, something like a rooftop. Yes, that's where he took his shirt off.
During the investigation, police discovered Valerii's t-shirt on the roof of the building, right above the first entrance, the same one where his body was later found. This supports the theory that Valerii was indeed on the roof shortly before his death.
Now I'm seeing someone taking your son by the hand and leading him up to the roof. But I can't make out who it is. We need to go up there right now. Something happened on that rooftop. Something that took your son's life.
While everyone was searching for the key to get to the roof, a spirit came to me. It gave me a sign. There's a woman involved in Valerii's death, and more than that, they knew each other.
But who is this woman? And how could she possibly be connected to Valerii's death?
I've just tuned into Valerii, and I feel that on the last night of his life, something was weighing on him. You and your wife, there's something you didn't tell him. It's connected to the man he believed to be his biological father.
He found out about his real father.
It turns out Vadim is Lyudmila's third husband. Her first, the man who was Valerii's biological father, left the family before Valerii turned 1. He and Lyudmila couldn't get along.
His name was also Valerii. My son was maybe 7 or 8 months old when we definitely separated.
A year later, Lyudmila met her second husband, Mikhailo. They married just a few months later. They had a daughter, Sasha. Mikhailo adopted little Valerii.
He treated him well. He loved him.
Valerii called him Dad.
But the man Valerii called Dad passed away. There was something wrong with his liver.
At that time, Lyudmila was already divorced from Mikhailo, but they had remained on friendly terms. He passed away from liver cancer. Valerii was only 9. He took his father's death very hard. He cried and kept asking when his dad would come back.
Even after that man's death, no one told Valerii the truth. They didn't want to traumatize him.
Then one day, purely by chance, Lyudmila ran into Valerii's biological father, right on the street. Ironically, her son was with her at the time. The meeting was brief. That's when she decided her son should know the truth about his real father.
We decided we'd tell him. At first, he was kind of in shock, but we explained that no matter who his father was, we still loved him.
He couldn't forgive you for keeping the truth from him. And on the day he died, Valerii was missing the man whom he had always called Dad.
It turns out that the day Valerii died was the anniversary of his adoptive father's death. Maybe in his final hours, he was remembering the times when his dad was still with him. So is it possible Valerii jumped from the roof because of this?
I don't see Valerii jumping off that roof of his own free will.
I see a woman, and it looks like a girl was supposed to come here with him.
Pink women's flip-flops were found on the roof. Most likely, there was a woman with Valerii that night.
That way.
Yes, over there.
The psychics stopped at the exact spot on the roof where, 2.5 years earlier, Valerii Shkvarchenko's body had been found on the lawn below.
The woman was much older than the boy. She felt like a parent to him.
I hear people saying, she's a killer, and you believe that too.
It turned out the woman the psychics mentioned was a local. Her name is Natalia. She's 45. She knew the boy's mother. They lived in neighboring buildings and would sometimes talk in the yard.
Rumors that Natalia was with Valerii on the night of his death reached Lyudmila soon after the tragedy. But the grieving mother was never able to confirm or deny them. The woman simply refused to talk.
I tried calling her. She didn't want to speak to me.
Valerii Shkvarchenko's friends said the woman would often show up wherever he was and kept forcing her company on him.
But what could possibly connect 18-year-old Valerii and 45-year-old Natalia? What were they doing on the roof that night? And could the woman have pushed the boy from the 9th floor?
Friends told me there were moments when our parents weren't around, and she would try to kiss him, hug him. He would talk to her, ask her to stop, but she wouldn't listen and kept going.
And my first thought was that they had already had some sort of conflict between them.
We need to meet her.
Do you know where she lives? She must be close, right?
Yes, I'll show you.
Natalia lives just one building over. Within minutes, the clairvoyants, along with Lyudmila and Vadim, arrive at her door.
Hello.
Hello.
My name's Jana. This is Jake. The boy's mother, the one who fell from the roof, asked us to help investigate. Is your aunt home?
No.
Do you know why she was up there on the roof?
After this question, someone called the boy from the apartment, and he immediately disappeared behind the door. What does this mean? Could it be that Natalia is indeed involved in Valerii's death?
Such strange behavior.
Our detective tried to contact Natalia by phone. She refused to comment on anything. Does she really know something? Or is Natalia the killer?
This woman is very scared. Every second person points at her and calls her a killer.
She was at home first, then she went out, practically for a walk, and got into a meeting.
According to the friend of the deceased, who met with him on the evening of the tragedy, when he was about to go home, a woman approached Valerii.
She greeted him, and they sat on a bench together. What happened next? The guy doesn't know.
I can feel that same heavy feeling. That's how Valerii felt. Wait, the woman was also upset. Perhaps she had a fight with her husband and that's why she went outside.
Maybe he wanted to calm her down.
Natalia looks very young, and no one can guess her age. That's why she comfortably spent time with young people who were also interested in talking to an older woman. That evening, she shared her family problems with Valerii.
It is impossible to confirm or deny this information, as neither Natalia nor her relatives agreed to speak. But if she really did confide in Valerii about her family troubles, what happened next? How did the boy die?
This roof meant something to your son. He used to spend a lot of time here.
As it turns out, Valerii truly loved this place. The view from the rooftop was incredible.
When they parted, he was still supposed to be alive. She didn't see what happened next. She left.
She left the roof, but someone else was there. And that person waited until Valerii was alone to kill him.
That thought sends chills down the spine. There was someone else on the roof? But who?
We need to go back up. I'm feeling that someone was watching Valerii, and it feels like there was a gaze, one that neither Valerii nor the woman with him could see.
We'll perform a ritual. This is an ancient rite. Through the rune of emptiness, we can open a portal between two worlds.
Relatives of Valerii had learned about the psychic's arrival. His aunt, sister, and godmother also came up to the roof.
Jana, Valerii is here. Wait, he's telling me. 666.
Holy moly.
3 sixes, the number of the devil. But what does this have to do with Valerii's death?
It's a sign. The devil himself had a hand in your son's death. Your son activated a dark force. He unleashed it. He performed some kind of magical ritual. I hear him chanting an incantation. He was asking something from the other side.
I don't know. We never even talked about mysticism.
On the surface, your son seemed happy. He loved his mom, his dad, and his sister, but someone was missing in his life, and that feeling grew stronger about a year before his death.
As it turned out, when Valerii found out that Mikhailo wasn't his biological father, he wanted to meet his real dad. But the man didn't want to see him, and that deeply hurt Valerii.
He tried, he called, but as always, there was never any time, or maybe there just wasn't any desire.
Valerii just wanted to talk to him, and your son suffered deeply because he couldn't change his father's mind.
The boy turned to spiritual forces. He wanted to create a situation he could control. He called on something he didn't fully understand.
I saw a vision. Your son sitting at a computer, reading something online. It was a ritual description, but it only explained how to perform it and what was needed, but nothing about protection, not a word.
Maybe he did read something online about those higher forces, but in secret, so we wouldn't know.
Most likely it was a spell for power, to take control over his father's will. The force that consumed him was incredibly strong, and he didn't know how to handle it, but it knew what to do. The goal of any dark entity is to claim both the body and the soul.
But what exactly happened to Valerii that night on the rooftop?
Right now, I see your son spinning around here making strange movements.
The parents recalled that 2 years before his death, Valerii had gotten into parkour, a sport practiced by young people worldwide. Its essence is to move freely and overcome obstacles in your path.
He had started training right here. He was doing tricks and was supposed to land just inches from the edge, but he miscalculated and fell. I'm sorry, but your son's death was an accident.
That explains why his body position didn't match a suicide. He didn't jump, he fell for a different reason.
The abrasions on Valerii's knuckles could have resulted from the impact with the ground.
That gaze watching your son the whole time was the gaze of the devil. He was there.
A ghost of a woman will come from the other world to tell the truth about her murder. Don't miss out. The psychics will unveil a terrible family secret. This incredible story began on a train while our experts, Zhana Shulakova and Yaroslava Fedorova, were coming back from another investigation. At one of the stops, Zhana became entranced and went out of the station.
A spirit called me. His name is Yuri. He said I had to stop deaths.
The next week, Zhana Shulakova called our office because the spirit she'd seen started haunting her.
He wants me to stop a murderer. A family is dying because of a woman. Her name is Inna. He says, I'll show you where to find her.
2 days later, our crew, together with Zhana Shulakova and Yaroslava Fedorova, is back at the same station.
Yuri is here. He's showing me some buildings of a light color. And next to them, there is something like a river.
I had a vision. I saw a woman. She was all covered in blood. She was stabbed. She only told me one phrase: "Find Eden." Yuri's spirit was standing next to the entrance door, pointing upstairs. This way.
The spirit is pointing at this apartment. Hello.
Hello. When I answered the door and saw Zhana and Yaroslava, I was genuinely shocked.
We are experts from psychic investigations.
My name's Ina.
Ina is 43. She has a daughter and a son. She owns a cafe.
A man's spirit has brought us here.
He's fair-haired and not tall.
His name's Yuri.
He was my husband's friend. He died.
It turned out that 2 years ago, Yuri died of heart failure.
The man from the other world was worried that Ina's family was in danger, and so he brought us to her home so we could help. The cards are showing me something fall on your husband's head. It happened recently.
Yes?
Inna says that, not so long ago, a piece of slate fell on her husband's head from the neighboring building while he was coming back from work.
He had a craniocerebral injury.
After that, Ina herself witnessed her 20-year-old daughter being hit by a car while they were crossing the road on the green light.
The driver was drunk. She had a concussion and several fractures in her skull.
Yuri's spirit says your son almost died recently.
We had to save him. My husband caught him by the hand.
While Ina's son was standing on the balcony of their apartment, something shoved his shoulder, and he almost fell from the 8th floor. At the last moment, her husband, who was also there, caught their son.
And before that, you had a dream in which your son almost died, didn't you?
Yes.
The woman saw an otherworldly entity in her dream. According to my feelings, it doesn't want to take Ina's son alone, but her whole family. And it is showing her this, in her dreams, intentionally.
A small and narrow river. And first, I saw my husband, son, and daughter on the same bank as me. And then they started crossing the river, but I saw I couldn't cross.
In all such dreams, Ina always saw a terrible black figure around her family.
The silhouette like a shadow. I beg you for help. I fear something irrevocable can happen.
The clairvoyants go down to the van to take their ritual items.
I had a very strange vision. A woman came into a dark little room and hid something small, emanating strong necrotic energy, in the wardrobe. And then, in the mirror next to her, another reflection appeared. It had no face.
Let me work in the apartment. What if we find a charm in it? There is an otherworldly entity here. You feel it.
I hear footsteps and breathing and see shadows all the time, but I can't see anybody.
The walls are clean. No traces of a charm.
The cards are saying that this entity has been bound to you through a thing, which is not here at the moment. What could it be?
I don't know.
I see a woman who has been snatched out of the other world, suddenly.
It's my niece. She experienced clinical death. She spent some time in the intensive care unit, but she was eventually saved.
What's her name?
Ilona.
She almost died due to the same entity that's bound to you.
Hello?
Hello? I see you standing. Then you're dizzy, and that's it. You remember nothing.
I came to the kitchen to have coffee in the morning. Fortunately, my husband was home. He gave me artificial respiration and called an ambulance quickly. They barely started my heart. They said another 10 or 15 seconds and I would be dead.
If the medics hadn't started Ilona's heart, her 2 children would have been orphans.
The spirits over there.
The window of the shed in Ilona's yard suddenly cracked.
I see a woman, her hair is cut short and it's curly. She's your bloodline.
It's my sister, Ilona's mother.
Yes.
She's covered in blood.
Was she murdered?
Yes.
She's here to help you.
She says, "Tell them the truth about my murderer, and I'll show who's avenging my sister."
What was her name?
Svetlana.
The woman from my vision was Svetlana. She was all bloodied. She was stabbed.
37 knife wounds.
The awful tragedy occurred in 2002. Svetlana was found stabbed to death at the grocery store where she worked. It was in a village that is an hour's drive from here. The woman lived there with her husband and 2 daughters. She was 38.
I still miss her, and I want to embrace her so much.
The woman's daughters, 11-year-old Zoriana and Ilona, who had just turned 15, stayed orphans.
It was really terrible.
She's telling me he's not guilty.
There's a man. He was accused, and he was punished.
Hori. He's from the neighboring village.
The police found Hrihori, a 30-year-old resident of the neighboring village, guilty of the woman's murder.
A slip knot on his neck.
He was found hung in a grove.
The man killed himself the same night, several hours after Svetlana's death. He was convicted of her murder afterward.
They said he was addicted to drugs.
Like an addict needed money.
But her gold jewelry was intact. It wasn't a robbery.
Neither was the money stolen from the cash register. The women think Grigory couldn't possibly have any other motive apart from the robbery, as he didn't even know the victim.
Do you think somebody else killed her?
We thought the father did it.
My father.
That is her husband.
Yes.
What's his name?
Stanislav.
What happened?
You were supposed to have a baby from your father.
What?
He raped her.
A shocking revelation. Did the father rape his own daughter?
It's true.
Ilona says she came home from school. Her sister wasn't there. Her father approached her, and then her recollection is cloudy.
It's very hard for me to recall it all. And
he told her, "Why do you need somebody to be your first man? It would be better if I am the first. I'll do it delicately, and it won't hurt."
It happened after Mom died.
What a bastard you have to be to rape your own daughter who has just lost her mother and has nobody to protect her.
And before that, did he harass you?
Yes.
Did you tell your mom?
He said, "If you say something, I'll kill you." I was 15. What could I do?
And what about the baby?
An abortion. Did I have any other choice? They did it without anesthesia or anything. They simply scraped me from the inside, and that was it.
Ilona says she ran out of tears when she was 15. The girl went through an awful humiliation, but she couldn't even tell anybody about it, neither her friends nor teachers, because she thought it was a great shame.
I phoned Ina and said, "Please take me away from here. I can't stay in this place."
We arrived here by car and took Ilona to the town.
Ina convinced her niece to report the rape to the police, but Ilona's father was not punished.
They closed his case due to a lack of evidence.
Had they done it immediately and taken all the necessary samples, then it would have given results. But they simply told me it was too late. Besides, he hired a good lawyer.
According to Ilona's family, a woman who eventually became his second wife helped the man to find the lawyer.
It was less than 40 days after Svetlana's death when he brought the new woman into the house. What else can I add here?
Ina did everything to return her niece to a normal life. She nurtured her like her own child, and she made sure the girl's father wouldn't even approach her.
How come such a monster wasn't punished?
We could do nothing. His other daughter stayed with him.
Your sister?
Yes.
She's 4 years younger. She refuses to believe me. She's always claimed Dad was good.
And Stanislav isn't among the living.
He hung himself at home.
Why did he do it?
We have no idea.
It was possible this was the reason Stanislav's spirit was trying to avenge Ina's family. Yet, we didn't know who had stabbed the woman. At that moment, I remembered the words that Svetlana had told me in my vision: "Find Eden."
Eden is the grocery store where she worked.
In the village.
The psychics go to the village in which Svetlana lived. Many things have changed at the store where Ilona's mother was murdered brutally, and it's not even called Eden anymore.
I saw Svetlana and blood on the floor at the counter. She was slashed horribly. Was she lying over there?
Yes. She was all bloody. This is unbearable.
He hits her in the head. Then he grabs a knife. The knife was somewhere here. He's in a haze and doesn't understand what he's doing.
Did her husband kill her or not?
That man wasn't her family.
Does this mean the murderer wasn't Svetlana's husband? But who could do such a terrible thing to the woman, and for what?
He came here to take the money from the register.
But something scared him.
He heard a voice that said, "Mom?"
A child found Svetlana. It was a girl.
My sister.
Yes, Zoriana.
Zoriana lives nearby with her husband and 2 children. When she heard from her aunt that the psychics are investigating her mother's murder, she immediately came.
How old were you?
11. I called Mom, but nobody answered. And so, the girls and I went behind the counter and saw Mom there.
Do you know if the murderer is alive?
The man hung himself.
He's thin and young. I see drops of blood on his jacket.
And so, it was Shihori all in all.
He was on drugs. And when he got sober and realized what he had done, he killed himself.
But you said it wasn't him.
Do you mean the phrase that I heard? She says, he's not guilty.
Your deceased sister meant her husband.
Svetlana wanted her family to know the truth. It hurts her to see them suffer for so many years, thinking that her husband killed her. Stanislav only killed himself. He might have been an awful person, a son of a bitch, a rapist. He might have been a terrible father and a bad husband, but he wasn't a murderer.
Your mother says, take care of each other, and I'll always be nearby. You are a family, and you must be together.
Because of their father, they didn't talk at all.
I always thought that that she slandered my father's name. All these years. But what I learned today...
I think everything is going to be all right. Can you ask my sister how she's doing up there?
She says she misses your communication.
Not so long before it happened, we'd started speaking rarely. Can you ask her to forgive me? I love her. And I miss her.
And then Svetlana's spirit showed me the entity that was bound to Ina, killing her relatives. But it had no face. It changed constantly. You see this entity in different shapes.
Yes. Its head wasn't human, it had horns. Then there was a spider and a large toad. I wasn't sleeping, I rubbed my eyes, but then it disappeared.
It's definitely an otherworldly entity that's avenging on her, as only it can shift its shape.
You can only bind such an entity to somebody.
Through some magic.
A woman did it.
Tell me, have you ever been to see a fortune teller or somebody like that?
No, never.
And then I heard the voice of Svetlana's spirit again. Go where you began the search.
She wants us to go to the station.
The clairvoyants and Ina are on their way to the station, but half a kilometer away from it, something has fallen on the van.
A branch from a tree, and it was strange, as it wasn't windy that evening.
Your sister's spirit is giving us a sign.
We must resume the search, using the pendulum.
The pendulum is taking the clairvoyant through courtyards until it stops in front of a residential building.
The entity was summoned in this building.
I lived here with my first husband and his mother.
Ina is married for the second time. She and her first husband were married for 13 years and had 2 children. After they divorced, Ina moved out, but her ex-mother-in-law still lives here.
The woman is young. She's holding a book and a wisp of hair. Yes, it's hair. And wax. Looks like a voodoo doll. I see her.
Have you ever made a wax doll?
I had to bind the candles like this.
Whose hair was it?
My ex-husband's.
Were you trying to put a love spell on him? Disappointment in love?
Yes. He cheated on me all the time. I simply wanted to save our family. I used to have a book, and in it, I read that I had to make a wax doll with his hair. I had to say something, then wrap it in his shirt and hide it.
It's a bad charm. It's black magic.
Doing such things, you can accidentally summon an evil entity, and so it got bound to you.
This is unbelievable. The psychics were searching for the woman who bound the killing entity to Ina, but it turned out she did it herself.
I beg you, please help me. I was stupid and only wanted to keep my husband.
We decided to carry out a ritual to send the entity back to the place from where Ina had summoned it, to the world of darkness. We need to go back to you place.
The entity began ravaging all over the protection circle. Jana and I weren't the only ones to see it.
What is going on? A large speaker on the floor stares, swinging itself.
That's all.
The entity won't escape this mirror.
I am grateful to you for everything you did.
Amazingly, the woman almost lost everyone she loves when she tried to keep her cheating husband by using magic. A mysterious death of a pregnant woman and her baby. What mystical force dragged the poor souls to the other world? And what does the Ghost Rider have to do with it? Find out right now. One of the most emotional investigations of the season. This woman's name is Ina. She lives in a small Ukrainian village. She works as a paramedic. Ina dedicated her entire life to raising her daughter, Nastya.
Nastya's father, he died. He developed a drinking problem in his final years.
Nastya's father drank himself to death, so her mother raised her alone. When Nastya grew up, she became a true beauty. After graduating from school, she moved to the city, became a hairdresser, and worked in a beauty salon. She eventually met a decent young man named Andrei. After they got married, she became pregnant.
Nastya was on cloud 9 when she was pregnant. She had a great husband, and her pregnancy was going well.
It seemed like Nastya had everything a woman could dream of. A loving husband, a home filled with happiness, and soon, her first child.
They would go to stores to look at cribs. They were getting ready, and they were even choosing names together.
They were preparing the bedroom. They wanted to renovate their apartment before the baby was born.
Nastya didn't quit her job and worked at the beauty salon until the last months of her pregnancy.
Everyone told her to go on maternity leave, but she insisted on working.
I always told her, Nastya, sit down. But no, she would be on the go all the time and wouldn't rest a minute.
Nastya's friend Natalia works as a cosmetologist at the same beauty salon. She used to study to become a gynecologist, so she often consulted the expectant mother about the pregnancy.
She always said she felt all right and never complained about anything.
But a month before the due date, Nastya suddenly fell unwell. It was a Thursday, and she had just arrived at work.
I asked, Nastya, are you okay? She said she felt pain in her abdomen. I told her it shouldn't hurt like that. I said, let's call a doctor. But she insisted she had just seen a doctor, who assured her everything was fine.
However, Nastya later went back to the hospital. And no sooner had she made it through the door of the hospital than she fainted.
It was so shocking. She went to work in the morning, but was in the hospital by lunchtime.
They performed an emergency C-section, but unfortunately, the baby had already died.
The baby died due to Nastya's dangerously high blood pressure, which stopped the child's heart.
On her way to the hospital, Nastya called her husband and complained about the pain. Andrei was on a business trip not far from the city. He dropped everything and rushed home. He still can't talk about that awful day. After all, he lost his dearest people in the world, his beloved wife and their long-awaited son.
He died. And Nastya, she had this tube for artificial respiration in her mouth, and she couldn't speak. She pointed to her stomach with her hand and mumbled, "Where?" And I said, "The doctors are taking care of him. Everything will be all right."
Inna never found the courage to tell her daughter her son had died.
He was buried while she was still in the hospital.
3 days after the delivery, Nastya fell into a coma. Her critical condition and the baby's death were explained by a rare syndrome called HELLP, a late-onset toxemia. Relatives still can't understand why this happened. After all, the pregnancy was going without any issues.
We were all badly shocked.
I read online that it's an extremely rare condition that happens once per 100,000 pregnancies.
The syndrome suddenly arises during the last months of pregnancy, mainly in women giving birth for the first time. It involves increased blood pressure and impaired blood circulation in the placenta. As a result, the baby doesn't receive nutrients and oxygen and passes away. Even specialists who have studied this disease for many years can't yet determine the cause of its occurrence.
We can even hear the fetus's heartbeat, and there's movement. But unfortunately, within 2 or 3 days, such an outcome can occur for the fetus.
2 or 3 days, but not a couple of hours. Besides, Nastya underwent regular checkups and was even seen by a doctor on the day of the tragedy.
Andrei was desperately hoping that the doctors would save his wife.
However, Nastya's vital organs began to fail one by one, and the doctors couldn't save her. Eventually, the young woman passed away.
Seeing her clothes breaks my heart. I haven't washed anything after that. They still smell like Nastya's perfume.
Nastya's death was like a ton of bricks falling on all of us.
She passed away on the 9th day after the baby. It's unimaginable.
Andrei cried, saying, "I can't believe they're both gone."
When you expect that your wife gives birth to a baby, but instead you end up with 2 coffins. This is horrendous.
He lost all the meaning in life.
Nastya's family has no doubt that it wasn't a mere accident.
It's impossible that so much grief befalls a single family.
Especially since the night before Nastya was admitted to the hospital, her mother had a terrifying dream.
I was walking in a dense forest, carrying a baby in my arms. And then I heard the snapping of branches and pine needles. I heard a wolf's voice, growling, and the thumping of paws. Someone was being torn apart. Suddenly a black cloud descended upon me, blocking out the sun. It became dark. That's when I thought something might happen to Nastya.
And the next day, Inna's daughter ended up in the hospital.
We need to know the cause. Why did she and the baby pass away?
Angelina is Nastya's elder sister. She is married and has a daughter, Sofia. She also had problems when giving birth, but she still can't wrap her head around what happened to Nastya. Psychics Olena Kurilova and Sofia Litvinova step in to investigate the enigmatic sudden death of the young mother and her baby.
When I looked at the photo, I had a vision of a woman so gaunt that she looked like a skeleton. However, it wasn't Nastya. She was holding a dead infant. The baby was torn to pieces, as if torn apart by a pack of dogs. The woman tried to say something to me, but she didn't have the strength to utter a word.
I asked the higher powers why this happened. Why did the young woman die? And they showed me a severed head, a bloody human head on a platter. And a girl of around 12 was running around it. She had a small mirror in her hands. and she was making sunlight reflections with it. But what does this mean?
I had a dream. In it, I woke up to the roar of a motorcycle engine and saw a motorcyclist. He told me, "My death is a payback. You must hurry." I feel like the events are unfolding further. There might be more deaths to come, one after another.
The psychics arrive at the home where the happy Nastya and Andrei awaited the birth of their first child not so long ago.
Hello.
Hello.
My name's Ina.
Are you Andrei?
Yes, the husband.
I see the letter K. Did anyone whose name starts with a K die?
The baby, his name was Kirilo.
The baby was still in his mother's womb, but the parents already knew their boy's name would be Kirilo.
I feel that the name somehow influenced the boy's fate. And when I saw the letter K, it doubled. There must be another dead child in their family with that name.
Grandma had twins, Lev and Kirilo. My grandmother.
As it turned out, the grandmother's twins also died during the delivery.
Everyone knows that naming children after the deceased is not recommended, because the child might repeat the deceased person's fate. The name Kirilo indeed influenced the baby's fate, but it doesn't explain the mother's death. You met when she was still very young. She was your first, true, and only love.
I fell in love with her at the first glance.
Those huge brown eyes.
Her eyes were mesmerizing. There was something extraordinary and magical about them.
They started dating when she was still in school. He was her first love, and she married him in the end.
The couple got married when Nastya turned 19. Andrei's parents bought the young couple an apartment in the city as a wedding present. The young man personally renovated the place and brought his young wife to their new home.
She would call me and say, "Mom, Andrei bought me this or that." Rings, necklaces, earrings, beautiful things like that.
Andrei was building his career and tried to provide his beautiful wife with everything she needed.
She did her best to keep herself in shape and was merciless to herself. A tighter belt and not eating too much. And she did all this, so everyone would envy you and admire your beautiful wife. She loved you so much. Tell me, why do I sense that her body was poisoned by some strong substance? There's poison in her body.
The cause of Nastya's death was intoxication, which, in simple terms, is poisoning. Perhaps this is what the psychic is referring to.
They said an infection started when the fetus died.
It takes a few days of a baby decomposing in the womb for toxic substances to appear and start poisoning the mother. But Nastya had seen a doctor that morning.
If the doctors made a mistake, it will be on their conscience. What do you see?
She's little. Like I see her from afar.
Is it a woman?
A little girl. She shows me a stroller, a crib, and a house. Find the house. So, it's not an apartment building. Did you live in a house?
Yes. Our village is about a 20-minute drive from here.
I recognized her. She was the same little girl from my vision yesterday. She showed me the human head on a platter. Let's go there. That's where the answer lies, I think.
The psychics arrive at the family's old house inn after dark, but they continue working.
Can I come in?
Sure.
Something terrible happened here. The earth is soaked with the maternal grief of a woman who ate her own flesh. I see the dismembered body of a child. The woman ate her own child.
Dear God.
Do you know who I'm talking about? She knocks on every door asking for bread. And a man, your blood relative, throws her out. You weren't born yet.
She extends her thin arms.
She looks, but her baby is not breathing.
I have goosebumps all over my body.
There were indeed cases of cannibalism during the Holodomor of the 1930s in this village. The people who survived are no longer alive. However, our journalists did find a woman whose entire family, except for 4 children, perished in the famine.
Her mother had 11 children. 4 survived, all the rest died in the famine.
Katerina Radchenko wasn't born yet, but she still can't forget the story her mother told her about a village woman who, driven by hunger, ate her own baby.
In the evening, she lay with her baby, and in the morning they found her, but the baby was gone. She had eaten her.
She condemned herself for the rest of her days. May God forgive her. We didn't live in those times.
This is simply horrifying to think about what people, driven to madness by hunger, had to go through. But how is this story connected to Nastya and her baby's death?
The woman from my vision kept repeating, "It killed us." She was talking about the hunger. The hunger killed her and her baby. And Nastya's death is also somehow linked to starvation.
Nastya's blood was like water in her veins. Didn't she eat properly? Or what was it?
She dieted. She induced vomiting.
It's unimaginable. Did she starve herself when she was pregnant?
During the entire pregnancy, she would run up to me, show me her butt, and shout that it was too big and that she needed to do something about it.
Her greatest fear was to gain weight and lose her shape. She refused to eat.
But you didn't know about it.
I noticed she had lost weight. I even had a word with Andrei about it, but he said he liked her like that.
This is called anorexia.
Nastya's starvation added fuel to the fire. Her and her baby's death were part of some karmic program. By refusing to eat, she essentially deprived herself of the strength and resources to fight for her life.
In the case of anorexia, when a woman's body has already exhausted all its reserves, sooner or later, a tragic outcome is inevitable.
Can we get inside?
Of course.
The vision of the severed head on a platter wouldn't leave my mind. Whose head was that? And who was the little girl running around it with a mirror?
Olena, did you see it? Someone entered.
I didn't see.
God, Olena!
Sophia, where are you going?
What happened? Why did the psychic run out of the house like a bullet?
Olena, do you hear that? A motorcycle engine.
A motorcycle.
There he is.
Sophia, where are you going?
A moment. There on the motorcycle. Do you see him? A young man. I feel sick. He rode straight at me. He hit me with his motorcycle. It was the same motorcyclist who woke me up the day before the investigation. I woke up to the roar of a motorcycle. The spirit rushed past me. He shouted, "He died because of me." Nastya's child died because of me.
Does this mean it all happened because of my brother?
Did you have a brother?
Yes, I did. He crashed on his motorcycle.
As it turned out, Inna did have an elder brother, Ivan, who died at the age of 20. Inna was in high school at the time, but how could the dead young man be connected to Nastya and her baby's death?
I hear fighting and screaming. It's you and your brother.
He beat me.
Why?
Over a mirror. I had powder then. He asked me for the mirror from there. He needed it for his motorcycle.
But you refused.
I did. And he started punching me violently.
And he died a few hours after that fight.
Yes.
The little girl running around the severed head with a mirror in her hands was Ina herself. The mirror she used to make sunlight reflections was the same one her brother beat her for. And then I understood whose head was on the platter. Did it happen on a church holiday?
Beheading of St. John the Baptist.
Oh my goodness, may God have mercy.
It was the head of John the Baptist. What happened to Nastya and her baby is connected to the date of his beheading.
John the Baptist was executed thousands of years ago on the same day Ina's brother died. The legend has it that his head was cut off. People say that on this date you should not use a knife and/or touch any circular objects that resemble a human head in shape. Fighting is also prohibited, especially hitting your own sister on the head because of a round mirror.
On this holiday, everything circular has a mystical significance, especially a mirror. Your brother did something unforgivable on this holy day. He beat his own sister to the point of drawing blood.
My nose was bruised and I had a black eye.
But how could this affect the death of Nastya and the unborn Kirilo?
Wait, Ina, tell me one thing. Did you curse him?
He beat me, and I cried, but did nothing. And then I looked at him, and he turned pale as clay. He said, "Go ahead, look, you're seeing me for the last time."
You experienced an internal offense. You know, an unconscious curse. And now, there's a curse on the boys in your family. If it had been a girl, she would have been born.
The first boy.
You need to perform a karmic ritual for your family. Go to 7 churches and light candles in front of the icon of Virgin Mary.
The ghost of a woman is haunting her friend. What does the restless spirit want from the woman? And what horrifying truth will be revealed? Natalia from Ukraine is asking the psychics for help because she's being haunted by the ghost of her deceased friend. The other woman's body was found in the well, not far from Natalia's home. Natalia's late friend's name was Tetiana. Natalia says that she first encountered her spirit in a nightmare.
I was falling into something like a pit or a well.
Suddenly, Natalia saw her friend in the well. Her large blue eyes were filled with tears.
Her eyes were wide open. I'm still terrified to think of it.
And the following next day, Natalia's 3-year-old son nearly died. She and little Danilo were feeding their horse when Natalia felt someone's presence.
It felt like someone was standing behind me. I turned around, but there was no one there.
And the next moment, her son started crying and pointed at something invisible.
Fear filled his eyes as he was pointing there, saying, "Mom, look, Mom, look, Mom, I'm scared."
Natalia wanted to pick up the boy to calm him down. But at that moment, the horse got scared too. It reared up and accidentally struck little Danilo in the chest with its front hoof.
The horse nearly killed him. We rushed him to the hospital with his collarbone broken.
In the hospital, the boy recounted that near the stable, he got frightened by a terrifying woman who was staring at him and weeping. Natalia is convinced it was the ghost of her deceased friend. However, back then, she couldn't even imagine that she would see her ghost in her yard a week later.
I was terrified at the time.
The dead Tetiana looked at Natalia, crying, and seemed to be shouting something. Then, right before the mother's eyes, the heavy fence collapsed on the boy, who was playing nearby.
I heard him scream and then saw him under the fence.
The new fence, securely attached to the posts just a year ago, somehow came loose from its hinges and fell on the boy. Natalia still can't understand how it could happen.
It's as if someone pulled it or pushed its top.
Little Danilo ended up in the intensive care unit. He had serious internal injuries.
I feared I would lose my child.
Miraculously, the boy survived and recovered. But Natalia doesn't understand why her late friend keeps coming to her and why she's posing a threat to her son's life. After all, Natalia and Tetiana were very close.
We were classmates and sat at the same desk. We were always together. I loved her very much.
But after school, their paths diverged. The only thing Natalia knows is that several years ago, when Tetiana was 4 months pregnant, she left her home and disappeared. Later, the locals accidentally found her body in the abandoned well.
They searched for her for about 3 weeks, and then the students found her. There's a school nearby, and the well is over there.
How and why the young pregnant woman ended up in the well is still a mystery. Tetiana had no reason to take her own life. Moreover, she always dreamed of having a child. Yet, the police closed the case as a suicide. Does the late Tetiana want to tell her friend something about her death? Could it be the reason for her visits?
It can't be that she simply started haunting me. There must be a reason behind it.
Clairvoyants Olena Kurilova and Yaroslava Fedorova agreed to help 21-year-old Natalia.
Yesterday I had a horrifying vision. There was a man in it and he threw a girl into a well.
It's strange. Natalia's friend was found in a well, too. And now, Olena Kurilova sees a girl being thrown in there. What is that supposed to mean? Could there be 2 victims of the same killer? But who is that man?
The man is from Natalia's family.
If somebody from Natalia's family is involved in Tetiana's death, perhaps the other woman keeps coming from the other world, seeking for revenge. But who is the girl from the vision? I had a dream of a boy. In his eyes, I saw a reflection of a man attacking a woman. I thought maybe this boy witnessed Tetiana's murder. But who is he? This boy might help us save Natalia.
Back then, no one yet knew that a series of gruesome murders, all driven by love, awaited us. Hello.
Hello. I'm afraid I could lose my son.
When I started working with Natalia, I saw that her aura was gray. This happens when somebody is in deadly danger.
Does it mean that, apart from Natalia's son, she's also in danger? But she claims that nothing is threatening her. Only her son is constantly at risk, while she just sees her friend's ghost every now and then.
Do you have Tetiana's photo?
There she is, standing behind her. She's thin, and you both look like each other.
Yes. She's standing behind me as if her hands are on my shoulders.
She says she took her own life.
A shocking revelation. So the pregnant woman committed suicide. But why?
Your pregnant friend killed herself because of love.
She's saying something. She really wanted this child. She wanted a family.
And then some conflict occurred.
Yes, that's true.
It turned out that shortly before her death, Tetiana told her friend that she'd had an argument with her husband. However, Natalia still doesn't know the reason behind the fight.
The father of the baby said he didn't want it. He distanced himself and claimed that the baby wasn't his. I see him beat Tetiana. She cried and she shouted, but neither she nor her baby were wanted by anyone.
I saw her jump into the well. But the most terrifying part is that once she was in there, Tetiana realized she had made a dreadful mistake and that she and her baby should live.
She tries to get out of the water.
She yells, asking for help.
But nobody hears her.
She regrets killing her baby.
But what does she want from me?
She's trying to warn you about danger.
The late Tatiana is trying to save her friend from death. However, her spirit's energy is so strong that she constantly provokes deadly situations for Natalia's little son.
If we understand where the threat to Natalia comes from, the spirit of her friend will stop coming and nothing will endanger the child. What's threatening Natalia? A living person.
Wait, I think I'm having a vision. A man throws a little girl into a well. She's about 5 or 6 years old. And then I realized that it was a scene from Natalia's past. It's you.
Yes.
Did somebody try to drown you in a well?
My stepfather grabbed me by the legs and swung me. And then he just let go. And I don't remember the rest.
It happened in the village where Natalia was born and lived with her family.
It was when Mom wasn't home. The neighbor was in the garden and he saw him lowering me by the legs. He ran over with a ladder and took me out of there.
Little Natalia nearly drowned in the ice-cold water. The girl suffered multiple injuries and spent a long time in the hospital.
He was trying to kill me.
It turned out that Natalia's father left his family when she was only 4 years old. Her mother, Larissa, soon remarried a fellow villager, but the seemingly kind man quickly turned into a real monster.
I see wounds that look like burns, and a man's hand doing like this. What is this?
He extinguished matches on me. My entire body is scarred by cigarettes and matches. He choked me and tortured me. I screamed so much from the pain.
Natalia says that the man tormented not only her, but also her 2 brothers.
Another vision. Burning coal. He's pushing you into it.
He tried to shove me in the stove to burn me.
My God, you've been through so much.
I don't even want to cry anymore. The tears fall on their own.
He was an awful monster.
He enjoyed doing it.
Yes. He constantly threatened Mom that he would do something terrible if she had him thrown in jail. But she went to the police anyway. They arrested him and put him in prison for 15 days. But then he was released and came back home. He broke down the door and said, either go out of the house or I'll set it on fire.
I understood that this scoundrel kept returning to his wife because she forgave him.
But why did the clairvoyants see Natalia's stepfather? Could it be that the threat is coming from him?
When I looked into Natalia's eyes, I saw her standing over someone's bloodied body, and then she fled in fear. I didn't want to continue the conversation outside, where people were already gathering.
Strangely enough, I didn't sense Natalia's or her family's energy in the room at all. It wasn't her house, and I couldn't understand why she was deceiving us. I was about to ask her this question, but then Olena said something that stunned me.
Your stepfather killed your mother.
Yes.
Oh God, were you there?
Yes. Mom and I were lying down. I had finished my home task, and Mom was knitting socks, and then he came.
It happened in 2008. The tyrant returned after yet another arrest for assaulting the children.
He said, I'll stay for a couple of days. And Mom said, I don't want to live with you. I'm calling the police. But he replied, oh, the police? Let's go talk.
He's not just a brute. He's an inhuman beast. He beat her terribly. He disfigured her.
He tore her to pieces.
She looked into his eyes and realized it was the end.
Then he came out covered in blood and said, I killed your mother. And then he sat in the room and lit a cigarette.
This is unbelievable. Within minutes, the man brutally killed his wife, while her 3 children were in the adjacent room. And afterward, he stayed in her house, calmly smoking a cigarette, as if nothing had happened.
I saw her lying there, unrecognizable.
She was gasping, "Run."
Yes, I was little and I got scared, so I ran out of the house.
Oh my goodness.
I simply realized I had lost my mother. How could I go on without her? I loved her so much.
When did your mother die?
On Valentine's Day.
The man was arrested. He served 5 years in prison, but was released on parole for good conduct.
The killer of Natalia's mother is now free. Could it be the stepfather who poses a threat to her?
But I still had no answer to the question. Who was the boy I had seen in my dream? The one who witnessed the man attacking the woman? Where is your younger brother now?
Vadim was adopted by a family from the US. We were taken to different orphanages. They scattered us like dogs, each to a different place.
The children were distributed among different orphanages due to their different ages.
You stayed all alone. What horrors Natalia and her brothers went through as children. Her youngest brother was only 4 years old when he witnessed the murder of his mother. But the card said he wasn't the boy from my dream. What's this?
The books fell. I got scared and shocked. They fell off the shelf.
I immediately realized it was the spirit of Natalia's mother, and she also felt her presence.
Could it be a sign from her?
She loves you so much.
I know. I love her too.
The deceased woman looked at me crying. She couldn't speak because her face was disfigured. I asked her spirit, "Is the threat coming from your murderer?" But she shook her head. Quiet, quiet, quiet. The spirit pointed to a woman standing in the crowd by the window. A woman's spirit pointed to you. She was this woman's mother. Do you know her?
I live in the next house, but I've never seen her before.
What's your name?
Yulia.
You don't know her either, do you?
I don't.
Natalia, it's not your house, is it?
I didn't sense Natalia's or her family's energy in this room at all. It wasn't her home.
The house isn't mine.
This is incredible. Whose house is this then? And why did Natalia invite the clairvoyants here?
I had a horrifying vision with Yulia. A man's hand stabbing you with a knife. Yulia, who is this?
My husband.
Did he stab you?
5 knife wounds.
Just like Natalia's mother, this woman was also attacked by a man she lived with and loved.
When that woman told me that she had been stabbed with a knife, I felt a shiver.
Yulia, why?
I didn't want to live with him.
Like my mother.
It happened on April 25th, 2016. There were no signs of trouble. He was working abroad, and he didn't even inform me he was coming home.
Yulia explains that by the time of the tragedy, she and her husband had lived together for 10 years and had a 6-year-old son, but their relationship had long been strained.
He had a young mistress. She kept calling me, telling me to let him go.
Yulia didn't want to live with an unfaithful husband.
I asked him to leave me alone. He couldn't accept that. He kept calling me, saying he loved me, and then out of a sudden, he decided to come home. He rang the doorbell, and I answered the door. My son and I were home. I asked, "Why did you come?" He asked me to give him something to eat.
Like he got hungry after a long way home?
Exactly, yes. He took the boy in his arms and told him, "You and your mom will visit my grave." But the boy is only 6. I got upset and pulled him out of his arms, and I told him, "Go away." But he ran to the kitchen and reappeared with the knife and began stabbing me.
Yulia's husband tried to kill her for the same reason as Natalia's stepfather killed her mother. Because she didn't want to live with him anymore.
And your little son, he somehow protected you.
He saved me. He pulled at him from behind and shouted, "Daddy, don't touch Mommy!" And he stepped back. Then I grabbed my son's hand and ran out of the apartment, knocking on all doors and asking people for help.
The neighbors called an ambulance and the police. In the hospital, Yulia nearly died from severe bleeding. She spent 2 days on the brink of life and death, but survived in the end. Yulia's husband was arrested and sentenced to 6 years in prison.
This is the boy I saw in my dream before the investigation. It was Yulia's little son. But why did I see him in the dream? I looked into the cards and froze. Natalia's child might soon witness the same violence that Yulia's son did, the father's abuse of the mother. The threat to you is coming from your husband.
Does your husband beat you?
Yes.
Natalia explains that she met her husband, Hrihori, right after leaving the orphanage. They fell in love and soon got married. At first, took care of Natalia, but then everything changed.
He throws me on the bed and either hits me or yells. Then he hugs me and says, "I don't know what came over me." He can easily cripple or kill me.
And the most disgusting thing is that Natalia's husband takes advantage of the fact that there's no one to protect her from his violence.
He often tells her, "Where will you go? Who will accept you? Who in the world needs you but me?"
Natalia says she won't leave her husband simply because she has nowhere else to go.
So I just endure it.
Natalia is afraid she might repeat her mother's tragic fate.
It's like I'm going through what she went through. Even my little son understands that things aren't good in our family.
If Natalia's husband isn't stopped, it could end very badly for her and for her son.
Why are we in someone else's house? Is it because of Grigori?
Yes. He yelled at me, threatening, "I'll beat you."
A few days ago, Natalia told her husband that she'd sought help from the psychics to protect their son. When he learned about it, Hrihori once again assaulted her. This is why Natalia decided to deceive him, pretending she was visiting her friend.
My friend helped me rent the house.
The next day, because of icy rain and slippery roads, the clairvoyants and Natalia barely made it to the village where she lives with her family to talk to her husband, but it was in vain.
I don't harm anyone. I'll handle it myself.
If you don't wish to lose her and your son, and if you want to avoid prison, never raise your hand against her.
It's going to be all right.
The man didn't hear us. He won't change his attitude toward his wife.
As we were bidding farewell to each other, I whispered to Natalia, "Take the boy and run."
A month after the investigation, Natalia called our office and told us she had made a difficult decision and found courage to leave her husband.
I found a job and I am working now. Everything is going fine. I finally feel happy. I'm really grateful to you and the clairvoyants.
Of course, family is the most important thing for each of us. It should be cherished and valued. However, it's not worth saving a family at the cost of your own life.